Hello there. Welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and I'm so happy you're here tonight. We're going to create a Christmas layout with some simple pattern paper piecing on the background. We're going to use the Home for Christmas collection, which is the featured collection of the month of October, which is almost over, and it is traditional Christmas, reds and greens, but it has pops of wood grain and pops of black that really make it so beautiful. And I love the traditional colors, some great wood grain, poinsettia, busy Christmas, crisscross, and word paper. And then for my Simply Scrappin' workshop, I actually added some of our layered die cuts. So this is the die cut embellishment sheets. You get red, green, and black, and they layer on top of each other for a lot of added interest. And so you can layer poinsettias, you can layer stockings, you can layer ornaments, you can layer sentiments and sayings. There's also some additional die cuts that aren't layered in the set, like a really intricate doily, some flourish pieces like some berries and some twigs, and I absolutely love it. There's a candy cane, and it's going to add so much. I'm also going to add some leftover pieces from our September-October season's mix-ins, and I have used our season mix-ins. Now let's take a look at my Home for Christmas Simply Scrappin' 10-page workshop. So my Simply Scrappin' layouts are very simple. They have simple backgrounds, lots of photo opportunities, they're very functional pages, and they're guaranteed to be not to need extra equipment like a Cricut or a die cutting machine. There's no stamping or any added technique that is beyond what I can do with paper. And maybe marker or pen. So you can see I've added some of those season mix-ins wood grain. We have wood grain in the Home for Christmas pattern paper, but I've added some extra wood grain from those season mix-ins, and you can see basic paper strips in the back. Here's another one with different layers of paper strips that are super simple, with an added floral background, some larger photo opportunities, and that decorating with the die cuts, the layered die cuts in the embellishment set. Lots of wonderful stickers in this, but this is the layout that we're going to focus on, or a version of this layout is what we're going to focus on tonight, and we're going to do the paper piecing in the background. I'm using 4 3x3 photos on the right and a 4x6 photo on the left to start my centerpiece. We're going to have photos that are from Christmas of 2019, where of course all the rage was Christmas pajamas. And I wanted to have family pictures with Christmas pajamas, but of course, in true fashion, it was a fiasco. One of our children's family had the flu, we had somebody get something stuck in their hair, the toilet overflowed. It was just usual chaos. So here are all of our children from left to right clockwise. Our oldest son and his family, our middle daughter and her family, our youngest son and his now wife. She was his fiance at the time, or his girlfriend at the time, and then our youngest granddaughter at the time, and then me on the left-hand side with 3 of our grandchildren, and I'll have to tell you the funny stories as we get into the layout. But it's a 2-page layout, so I have 2 of my Versamats out. I've created 2 gutted frames by cutting from 1 inch to 11 inches all the way around the crisscross pattern. I have an 11 1/4 by 11 1/4 French vanilla piece as the base on both of the pages. On the left page, my center anchor is going to be a 4x4 pattern paper from the season mix-ins, September, October. And on the right page, my anchor is going to be 4 3x3 photos that create a 6x6 square. Now you can put the 4x4 photo right on the French vanilla base, and you can build your pattern and your strips right on the base. But I'm kind of a chicken. I like to have an extra piece to create my base pieces in case my strips aren't the right size and I need to trim the edge, and also because then that allows me to be able to pop up that 10 by 10 piece that I've prepped onto the base page to add dimension. And it's another way to add interest to a simple page that you're not adding a lot of Cricut cuts to, or any Cricut cuts to, you're not adding any thin cuts to, so you're creating interest by adding dimension and paper piecing. So what I've done is I've used pencil and I've measured 3 inches all the way around that 10 by 10 piece of paper to leave a 4 by 4 square in the center. Now that will be the anchor for the pattern, and then I'll be adding paper strips. So what I have here is I have some 1 by 9 paper strips, 1 by 8, 1 by 7, 1 by 6, 1 by 5, and 1 by 4. And we're actually going to create boxes, a little box all the way around the 4 by 4 square by leaving an extra inch on either end and then connecting to it to build a little pattern. So again, you can see I'm trying to go nice and slow so you can see each of the colors and the sizes there on the sticky, but they start with the largest at 1 by 9 and they go all the way down to 1 by 4, 1 by 9, 1 by 8, 1 by 7, 1 by 6, 1 by 5, and 1 by 4. So we're going to start here obviously with the 1 by 4, and then because we have that added inch, now we have 5 inches to work with. So I'm going to come in with a 1 by 6, 5 inches to cover, and then a 1 inch overhang. And then I'm going to keep connecting. So now I'm going to come back in again with another 1 by 5 so that I have a 1 inch overhang. And then I'm going to come back in again on that left side and fill in the space again with a 1 by 5. Okay, so now I've created a box around my box, and I'm going to start again. This time the strips are going to be a little longer. So now we have 1 plus 4 plus 1, so we have a 6-inch square. So I'm going to start with a 7-inch strip. And then I'm going to have a 1-inch strip left over that I can build on and piece it again. So here's another 7-inch strip. And then I'm going to piece it together with 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. So there's my 6-inch strip. And then I'm going to piece it together here with a 1 by 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, a 1 by 8. So we're getting bigger and bigger, and you get the idea. So even if you started, now I'm going to go 1 by 9, and even if you started another 1 by 9, even if you started with 12-inch strips and just kept trimming and trimming and trimming, another 1 by 9, and the last 1 by 9. Now you can see the wonderful quilted pattern. So you've taken paper piecing to make an interesting element to be able to add a photo to that will really give your page a nice wow, but keep it simple. It was super simple to put together, and I'm so glad I put it together on the 10 by 10 white daisy, even though some people might think that's wasteful to add an extra 10 by 10 when you could have just created the 10 by 10 square in the middle of the French vanilla piece. But it just made me feel better because I did end up trimming some edges. I'm not the most perfect cutter, even though I tried. And I tried to be very careful. It's not a perfect science, and I like being able to create it on there and create another dimensional element. And I love that paper alone can be enough added interest that you don't have to have all of the added extras all the time. So now I know that I'm working with a 6 by 6 square. So now if I'm working with a 6 by 6 square, I'm going to create 2 inches all the way around of the 10-inch square to leave the 6 by 6 square in the center. So I've created the 6 by 6 square with 4 3 by 3 photos. And I'm going to add those photos to the center. Now, because I'm starting with a 6 by 6 square, I will have longer strips on this right page, what's going to be the right page, and they will all be 1x7 and 1x9 because I'm creating strips that are larger than 1x6. On the 4x4 square, I had smaller strips, but I'm going to start with the 1x7, and there's going to be 4 1x7 strips, and you'll see me struggle here. I think I accidentally grabbed a 1x9 strip and realized I needed a 1x7, and then I ended up cutting another one when I actually had all my strips ready, but I confused myself by grabbing a 9-inch. We actually have red crisscross 1x7, green poinsettia 1x7, black word 1x7, and wood grain 1x7. And then we have a stripe 1x9, a poinsettia 1x9, a wood 1x9, and a green 1x9. And you'll see that I end up getting all of that worked out. I end up having to kind of stop and correct what I'm doing. But I finally figure it out here. I made it way more difficult than it needed to be. And then once I get in sync, it ends up coming together. So you'll see how I'm going here. And then I figure it out. And so it's so funny because some people will look at patterns and they can just whip dimensional patterns or 3D patterns or any kind of patterns out. Quilters blow my mind. People out there that are quilters, I love to watch them. They just can visually see patterns. I am not one of those people. I do not and I don't know if it's a mental block with math or numbers, or if it's just that I can't see the whole picture. I'm just not able to understand all the time how pieces come together. And then once I do it once, I'm like, oh, is that all it was? But I look at something and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's too hard for me. And then when I start to break it apart piece by piece, I'm like, that isn't hard at all. So I'm kind of working around because I'm not quite understanding what I'm doing. And then I finally realize that it is all 1x9s. And then I get it all put together. So the funny thing about these photos is, and I'm going to actually adhere these together off camera, and then I'm going to actually put foam tape on the back. And again, it does use a lot of foam tape. I have a lot of extra foam tape left over from the insides of shaker windows. I also have some strips of foam tape, and I love that dimension. If you don't want to waste that much foam tape, and you want less dimension in your layout, you can put these pieces centered flush on your page. So this Christmas, I had this dream of, it was so on trend to have pajama photos. And first of all, my husband would wear the pajamas, but he wouldn't allow me to take the photo of him wearing the pajamas. And then second of all, our oldest son, which is in the upper left, his family, almost all of them came down with the flu. 2 of the kids got to come over for our Christmas celebration, and the rest of them were throwing up and didn't get to come. So it ruined my idea of all of us together in our pajamas. And then let's see what else happened. It was like an explosion. It was chaos. It was toys everywhere and screaming and games and sliding down the stairs on butts. And then someone got some kind of candy stuck in their hair and we had to use the scissors and get it out. And then I think maybe one child did throw up, and then just laughter and screaming and games and fun and chaos. And sometimes I think, how do these people pull off Christmas? How do they have the perfect Christmas pictures when our Christmas pictures always look like absolute chaos? So I managed to piece together the photos. I did get the one here of me with 3 of the granddaughters that are from the middle daughter's family. And then my youngest son was very great about it. He and his girlfriend were like, okay, what do you want us to do? Because a lot of times I threaten, it doesn't sound very Christmassy, but a lot of times I will threaten and I'll say, okay, as soon as everybody takes the photo, we can eat. And then everybody hurries up and then they're super cooperative. And then our oldest son whose family had the flu, they took one the next morning in the pajamas. And so they're a little bit pale, but they took their photo there. And so now I've just added a simple sticker on the corner there. I've popped up the 4x6 photo on a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 black photo mat. I've added the Home for Holiday sticker with a little bit of foam because my whole idea of this layout is keep it simple. I don't want to add much to this at all. I want the pattern to speak for itself and the story. I want to write the story about our chaotic Christmas, and it seems like every Christmas for us is chaotic. There are occasions that my Christmas cards have formal photos on them, not very often, usually only if someone's gotten married or, once in a great while we'll have a large family photo. So now I'm just jazzing up the edges a little bit. I'm not going to go overboard with jazzing up. I'm going to add a couple little things. I'm going to add some banners and I'm going to add some journaling. And as you can see, right out of the gate, I made a boo-boo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to make imperfect lines around the straight lines. And I do this a lot when I make a mistake. I wasn't paying attention, and I kind of did a scribble mark on the upper right corner. So by adding the second journaling line, it makes it look a little more whimsical and like I meant to do it. So I'm happy with that, except for I might want to add a little bit more pops of red with the banner. I want to keep it super simple. It's for my Simply Scrappin' workshop, and I like to stretch my Simply Scrappin' workshops using the sticker sheet to 10 pages. And I don't add Cricut cuts. I don't add thin cuts. So the only embellishments that I have for 10 full pages are one 12 by 12 sticker sheet and the layered die cuts that come in the embellishment kit. So I'm layering a few little small embellishments here up in the upper corner. So they have that nice wood grain piece so that I can pull that back in because we've used the wood grain from the Home for Christmas set. And so I want the wood grain to be pulled back in. I want a little green in there. I want a little red in there, and I just want to use up some of the smaller embellishments because I'm going to need the bigger title embellishments for the other pages in my Simply Scrappin' workshop. So I want to pull in, because we have so many squares and rectangles, I want to pull in some rounded elements. There again, we have the wood grain sticker that I think will be perfect in there, and tie the wood grain in. So it's tying in the black, it's tying in the red, it's tying in the green. Add a few green and red hearts to tie it all together, and it's super basic embellishing. So if you follow me at all and you followed some of my other videos, process videos, sometimes it's all out. It's all the things. It's texture, it's sponging, it's inking, it's splattering, it's tearing, it's Cricut cuts, it's layering, but simple is simple. It's designed to be simple. It's designed to be easy. It's designed and guaranteed to not have all those added extras. And it's a total style and a total preference. And I actually love both styles. I am a simple scrapper and I am a sparkle and shine scrapper. Sometimes I just want to get easy pages done that still look lovely, but don't take me forever. Other times I love spending hours and hours and hours on a page. So it just kind of depends on my mood. It depends on my photos. It depends on how functional I need it to be, on how many pages I need to get in it. And I absolutely love this paper piecing technique. It's simple, it's easy, and it really adds a super interesting element to an otherwise plain background. So now I've added that journaling, but I'm looking at the banner that comes in the sticker sheet. Not only do I want to conserve stickers, but if I put a busy banner on the back of busy paper, it's just going to be kind of a hodgepodge. It's going to be too much. So I want to tone it down with a more solid. So I'm creating some dovetailed banner pieces here out of 1 by 1.5 inch pieces. and a candy apple. And by dovetailing, by snipping up the center about a 1/2 inch and then snipping in from the sides, it makes the perfect dovetailed pieces. And often what I will do is I will make one dovetailed piece, and that will serve as my pattern for all the rest, so I can quickly lay them over the top and make really fast dovetailed pieces. Then I actually am going to lay it over a 1 1/4 by 2 inch black piece as an extra added back to make it pop. It makes it go really well with this layout because of all of the black accents in Home for Christmas. I absolutely love black accents. I don't really care what color it is. I can hardly think of any time where black accents don't look nice. And it's always a great go-to to add black backgrounds to stickers, to add black backgrounds to photos, to add it to other cardstock pieces. And I thought I could choose one of the banners to add another splash of that green color with the green heart and add the tiny little sentiment sticker there just for that added interest. And I think that added just enough. I don't want to add much else, but I want to add my journaling. So one of my go-tos is our journal sticker sheets. And so I write out my story longhand in my own writing, and then I snip apart these pieces onto the page at different lengths. I like writing the story out in a linear fashion and then just snipping the words apart to make them tell the story. And I really wanted to tell the story about the toilet overflowing and the sticky in the hair and the pajama wish and how we had to piece the photos together because of the flu and the throwing up and stepping on Legos and toys and sliding down the stairs on butts. And sometimes I look around and I think, oh my gosh, you spend days and days getting ready for Christmas and you make your house perfect. And then about 3 minutes after everyone arrives, it absolutely looks like an explosion. And that's the way our house is every single Christmas. It is always, but it's a wonderful explosion. I wouldn't have it any other way. And when everyone leaves and goes home, it is way too quiet. It's like, I love it and I'm exhausted, but it's a good exhaustion. And then when everyone goes, I'm like, aw, what happened to all the fun chaos and the crazy chaos and the life, the livelihood and the life? And I really feel like Home for Christmas was perfectly wonderful for our Home for Christmas chaos. So I hope you found this useful and you've got some simple scrapping ideas that won't take hours on end and some simple, easy techniques that you can use to put some simple but wonderful pages together to scrap your very own Christmas memories. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and stopping back by. I sure hope you'll hit subscribe and follow and shoot me a comment and let me know what you thought of the simple paper piecing pattern and the Home for Christmas collection, which is available through October here, about another little over a week. So you can check that out and I'll link that in the description. Happy scrapping, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.